Welcome everyone. I'm going to recap only the characters that's going to be in the next installment. So I'm not going to be talking about people that isn't in House of Ashes. That would be kind of pointless. So I'm going to talk about the people who are actually going to be in the next. I'm going to start with Julia and Alex at the same time because they're mostly together, mostly. So yeah, let's get to it.
Julia and Alex, they've met up on a boat one evening, and they met other people who they kind of knew. Alex knew Brad, Julia knew Conrad, none of them knew who Fliss was, but that's not the point. They went down to dive a little bit to go and find out what's on this abandoned airplane, but before they went back to the surface, Alex proposed, and Julia said something. She said yes, I know that, but... And so they're engaged, and so they talk, and they keep on talking, and then until people come and try to take their boat, take them hostage, and whenever they are the hostage, the people are like, oh yeah, we're gonna take your money and stuff, we're gonna talk to your brother, talking to Julia, we're gonna take your brother and punch him in the face because he's so mean, Conrad threw money at them, you know, so that's what happened. And so they're on the boat, like, oh no, we gotta get out of here somehow. Conrad's like, oh, I can go out and do something. But then Julia farted and they had to escape. But Conrad left Alex behind and they're stuck there. But they managed to get each other free and get that one Danny guy. And went outside and Conrad has Junior as a hostage. And they're like, I don't want to stand off now. But if one thing led to another and Julia got shot in the head, but she's fine. She just has a bandage, you know. You know how gunshot in the head can go, you know. So after some shenanigans, they crack into a big boat outside of nowhere in the middle of the sea that no one ever found. And now they're all still being a hostage, but they're on an abandoned boat. So Brad is left on the boat, but don't mind him. So they're on the boat and they get out of there. Like, we must get out of here before we gotta get back to the boat. But they took the distributor cap. So they try to find it. But Fliss eventually gets separated from them. So it's only Alex, Julia, and Conrad together now. But then later Conrad gets separated because he's just not paying attention, I think. And then it's just Julia and Alex now. And soon, so while the people are doing their own thing, it takes a while to see Alex and Julia again because everyone else is more important at the moment. So eventually it goes back to the two, and they're like walking around looking for Conrad, I guess. But and that's what they've been doing other than that. So while they were looking for him, they were like, oh, we found this pirate guy trying to kill us. Let's get out of here. So they're being chased down by this guy who's trying to kill them because they think they're Teletubbies. So they eventually get out of there. But then they run into Conrad, like, oh, Conrad, where'd you come from? And they manage to get out, and Conrad, Fliss, and Brad are all there at the same time, and they make it to safety. But now they're all together talking about what to do next. And then eventually Alex finds the radio and the thing, and then Julia and Brad went down and they go on to do their own little side gig. But then they found Olsen's clone talking about the cloning facility. And then they try to stop him, but they don't get to stop him. That's for Conrad's job. So then Julia and Brad are held on gunpoint by Junior. They get Junior on their side so Junior lives on to live another dub. And then Alex is on his own over here with Fliss, and he finds the actual Olsen's dead body because he died of a heart attack. So he tried to get the distributor cap, he got it, getting attacked by mice. Not sure if that's actually happened or that's not true. And then he almost got Fliss, but he didn't. And then this next part's irrelevant to the two, so I'm gonna skip it. So the Olsen's clone died. But apparently he didn't, because in Little Hope, I'll talk about him later. So yeah, and then they get on the boat, and then they leave, because they found the distributor cap, and they go back home. Alex took Julia to India for a marriage, and then they somehow got drafted into a war, and it takes place in House of Ashes. Now to the next character.
She was also bombed. Had a bomb on her chest. I'm not sure when or why this happened. I mean, probably we'll know in House of Ashes. I don't know what's going on, honestly.
Olsen was a pirate with two other people. He was taking them to go get some money from this guy who threw money at them earlier. What you got there? Things are going pretty smoothly. 3 against 5, 3 wins easily. So after doing some kind of weird shenanigans, he hates Conrad, but he's indifferent with Alex and Julia. He just whatever. Then they crash into a big boat, as I mentioned before. So then he took them to a place, but then he got separated. He heard a voice, not a voice, but heard a noise, and he walked away. That's a long time until we see him again, like a very long time. Extraordinarily long. We don't know what he's been doing for a good chunk. He's just gone. Who knows? But then Alex and Julia found Olsen, and he looks like a zombie to them. So they get chased. He's chasing them down because he thinks they look like Teletubbies. But then, he eventually dies. But his clone is what we should be focusing on, really, because his clone lives on. The clone is shown talking to Danny, not talking to anyone about the cloning facility. So he makes sure to keep him quiet. And he kind of kills him, but doesn't. He failed. But somehow. So then he has to fight Conrad, like, oh, I'm gonna kill you all with this gas and stuff like that. But then, literally, he got cut in half, like, oh no, and he dies. But then, at the end credits of Little Hope, we've learned what happened. When he died, his spirit got released and took possession of the original Olsen. So he is back in the new body. So he is alive. So then, a year later, he's just retiring in a town called Little Hope because he has nothing else to do. He's all alone. So then these random 5 bozos come out of nowhere and start bugging him. And this guy named Andrew just comes up to him and says, hey, I don't like you. I'm going to shoot you. And I'm like, how dare you say you don't like me because of my skin color? And I hate him. And that's basically what happened. He tells him his name is actually Olsen. And he plans his revenge one day. Yeah, that's about it for Olsen. And now for the characters on Little Hope. First, there was that cop guy. We saw him at the beginning for the bus, and that's it. His name is Eric. He's his House of Ashes. He was literally there for one scene, but, he's there. Yep.
He was also in Hidden Agenda to talk a lot. Yap, chat, talking. Hey, I'm an officer as well, you youngsters. So that's what he's saying on screen. You just haven't watched it.
Now, the next character I'm going to talk about is Andrew.
He's not going to be in House of Ashes. He's in the Hidden Agenda trilogy at the moment. So somebody else would be in the House of Ashes that looks just like him. That's going to be a plot point, I'm sure. So, yeah.
Gonna be, go on a field trip. I could probably do John at the same time, yeah. So, him and John is the professor. Andrew and Daniel and Taylor are the students. They're going on a little adventure to I'm not sure what their actual destination is. They just crashed in Little Hope. Who knows where they were trying to go? So they basically want to get out of there. So they're like, oh, let's get out of here. Daniel lost his teeth in the crash. So sad for him. Taylor couldn't get service. I think she eventually did. I don't know. But then, and John and Andrew. Andrew lost his memory. He doesn't know what his name is. He needs Tylenol and all that. He's probably okay by the end. I think he's fine. So, long story short, they talk for a long time. Like, nothing's really happening for the first half of the whole stay there. But they do eventually run into Olsen's clone. But Andrew calls him Tyrone because Olsen was faking his name, making him think he was Tyrone to gain their trust. Because he's all alone, he wants friends. But what does he gain? An enemy named Andrew trying to shoot him all the time. And John takes a sip of Tylenol, and his voice clears to his true voice. I think it's his true voice. Then over time, his voice changes. And yeah, Taylor and Daniel eventually finds his teeth at the end. So that's good for him. Taylor, I'm not sure if she found service. I think she did for a little bit. I think. Yeah, so John, I think I'm done with Taylor and Daniel. I think that's all we gotta really know. Yeah.
And also, this is actually him now. He's in Hidden Agenda. Somebody else is in House of Ashes. Just like a little change in mind. So, yeah. so John and Andrew have a whole bonding thing because they are the professor John is pretty proud of his student Andrew. They're like good friends, I think. It's kind of I guess is it fine to be friends with the professor? I don't know. Yeah, so they have a whole thing going on. Not like that, but you know. So eventually at the end, because not that much I think I need to be talked about. I don't think things are just happening to them as they're walking. You know, that's about it. They get to the gas station, and it just cuts from there. So yeah, I had the much going with the Little Hope characters. They just walk through an abandoned town. Things start happening. That's it. I mean, Andrew does go sell flashlights. This is his big goal at the end. So he does sell flashlights. Okay, I'll go see how they get to a war. So Andrew was selling flashlights, and the military's like, we need flashlights. We're out of it. So they're like, okay, come on over, Andrew. Come get your flashlights. No, come sell us flashlights. So he joined the war to help give them flashlights. That's how he joined. And then Taylor and Daniel got drafted randomly. Like, it was like a whole cards in a hat, you know, like names out of a hat. They just picked two, and that was Taylor and Daniel randomly by chance. It's crazy. And John got mixed up by some other guy who looks just like him to fight in the war, but on the other side in Iraq. And I don't know how that happened exactly, but that's how he got there. And Olsen's clone goes through the fog to go somewhere in BC a long time ago. At some point, Eric is a police officer, so he just goes up a level. Yep, that's it. I noticed my creepy voice slowly became less creepy. That happens sometimes. I don't know. Well, yeah, House of Ash is coming out. I think I'm uploading this on October, if I'm correct. I think. So, yeah, it's not that long until the next thing comes out on December 30th. Trailers should be coming out next month. Now remember to give me some milk and cookies for Christmas, okay? Because I'm also Santa Claus. You didn't expect that, did you? I'm not laughing like him. Dang it, my cover's been blown!